Something truly extraordinary, something completely unprecedented, appears to have happened over Jerusalem just a few hours ago, as dawn was breaking. We're receiving a flood of reports, images, and videos from the area, and what they show is, well, it's almost beyond words. The sky over the ancient city, a place sacred to billions, seems to have literally opened. What we're seeing isn't a storm, it's not a weather anomaly, and it doesn't look like any known natural phenomenon. Witnesses on the ground, many of them woken by an unusual light and sound, describe a breathtaking spectacle. They speak of a brilliant, ethereal light pouring through a rift in the clouds, illuminating the city in a golden white glow unlike anything they've ever seen. This wasn't the gentle light of sunrise. This was something more. It was described as pure, intense, and deeply moving. As this celestial gate appeared, witnesses report seeing figures descending. I know how that sounds, and we are approaching this with as much journalistic integrity as we can. But the accounts are remarkably consistent. People from all walks of life, locals and pilgrims alike, are describing beings of light. Figures that seemed to radiate peace and power coming down from this opening in the sky. They weren't falling, they were descending with grace and purpose. The atmosphere, they say, wasn't one of fear or panic. Instead, people describe an overwhelming sense of awe, of profound peace. A feeling that they were witnessing a moment of immense spiritual significance. Let's try to piece together the timeline. The first reports started trickling in just before sunrise, local time. It began with a low, humming sound, almost like a choir, that seemed to emanate from the sky itself. Then, the clouds, which were sparse, began to part in a perfect circular formation directly over the old city. From this opening, the intense light began to shine. Cell phone networks were immediately overwhelmed as thousands of people started recording and trying to contact loved ones. Emergency services were flooded with calls, but the calls weren't reporting a disaster. They were reporting a miracle. We're looking at footage right now, and it's staggering. You can see the light, you can see the shapes moving within it. We've had experts looking at this, trying to find any signs of digital manipulation, drone light shows, or advanced holographic projection. So far, everything we're analyzing appears to be authentic. The raw emotional reactions from the people on the ground are impossible to fake. You hear gasps, you hear prayers being uttered in Hebrew, Arabic, and dozens of other languages. You see people on their knees, tears streaming down their faces, overcome by the sheer majesty of the event. What could this be? For millennia, prophecies and scriptures from multiple faiths have spoken of heavenly visitations, of messengers from the divine, of a time when the veil between our world and the heavens would be lifted. Could we be living through the fulfillment of these ancient words? For believers, this event is being seen as a direct sign from God, a moment of profound revelation. For skeptics, the search for a rational, scientific explanation is on. But even the most hardened doubters are struggling to categorize what they're seeing. It defies our current understanding of physics and atmospheric science. The figures themselves are the most astonishing part of this story. Descriptions vary, but the common themes are of tall, radiant beings. Not with wings in the traditional sense, but surrounded by an aura of light that gave the impression of them. They moved slowly, deliberately, and seemed to observe the city below. There was no communication in the conventional sense, no booming voice from the heavens. The communication, witnesses say, was felt a sense of peace, reassurance, and immense love that settled over the entire area. It was a silent message that resonated in the hearts of everyone present. Think about the location. Jerusalem, a city that has been a focal point of faith, conflict, and hope for thousands of years. It's the crossroads of three of the world's great religions. For an event of this magnitude to occur here, of all places, adds layers of meaning that are impossible to ignore. It transcends politics and division. In the light of this dawn, people weren't seeing each other as different. They were united in shared wonder. For a few hours, the ancient conflicts seemed to melt away in the face of something so much larger than all of us. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the phenomenon began to fade. The light from the opening softened, the figures receded back into the celestial gate, and the rift in the sky slowly closed, leaving behind a perfectly clear blue sky. It was as if it had never happened, except for the thousands of videos, the millions of eyewitnesses, and the profound change felt in the atmosphere of the city. The humming sound faded, and silence returned. But it was a different kind of silence, one filled with contemplation and awe. The world is now scrambling to react. News agencies are dispatching crews, world leaders are preparing statements, and religious authorities are convening to discuss the implications. Scientists are calling for a coordinated effort to analyze all available data. But on the ground in Jerusalem, the mood is one of quiet reflection. People are gathered in squares, in churches, mosques, and synagogues. Not in fear, but in fellowship. They are sharing their experiences, showing each other their videos, and trying to comprehend the sheer scale of what they witnessed. This wasn't an invasion. It wasn't an attack. The emotions reported are universally positive: awe, hope, peace, and an overwhelming sense of connection to something divine. It felt, as one person put it, like the universe was breathing a sigh of peace over us. Regardless of what you believe or where you come from, it's clear that something profound has occurred. A new chapter in human history may have begun this morning, not with a bang, but with a gentle, radiant light over a holy city. We will continue to follow this story as it develops, bringing you verified updates and first-hand accounts. This is a moment that demands careful consideration, an open mind, and an open heart. What does it mean for our world? What does it mean for you? These are the questions we will all be asking in the days and weeks to come. The sky over Jerusalem opened, and in doing so, it may have opened our eyes to possibilities we had long forgotten. Thank you so much for joining me to process this incredible event. It's a lot to take in, and we'll navigate it together. If you want to stay updated on this story, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on. We appreciate your time and your trust. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, and we'll see you in the next update.